Hey guys, fine-tuning the camera there, and we have got to do a quick shave, and I'm starting late. I had a lot to do today, so let's get to it. Cannonball. Today's theme is Freeze Your Face Off Friday, and so Cannonball has a cooling agent in it. And now, if you're gonna freeze, I like the design, the blue and gray and silver design. It's kind of freezy, so we went with this. This is a Virginia Chang silver tip, 24 millimeter. I'm almost sure 100%. Now if you're looking at for a cold razor, then something without too much decoration seems to be more appropriate. Something very austere, something very contemporary. Seems colder than a lot of these other designs, so I chose it because it looked cold, right? Cold and unforgiving. This soap has this splash has menthol in it. It's from Stubble Buster. It's Game, and the scent is tangerine, sequoia, and sage. And then the cologne at the end is Perry Ellis 360 Red, and this is a cologne. Since we're going with the water of Cannonball, I went with an aquatic scent. That's the way this guy is making it into the team today. And Aqua Di Gio is the main scent that this is inspired from. All right, so let's get busy. I had a bunch of stuff to do tonight. Started watching Red Batch with my son. Bad Batch with my son tonight. Using the NASA, of course. It's a Star Wars thing, and I'm liking it so far. Here's the NASA with its. Hopefully, you can see that N1. It's hard for me to see when you can see that, but that's the blade that we're using. We'll go ahead and this is real easy to pop the blade in there, up on both sides. It'll fall over. And then one way you can do it is to just put with this Mercure Futur, and this is of course the polished version, and it is not slippery. It's actually really well done in terms of the grip department. Somehow the slickness here, just your fingers kind of stick to it once they get wet. I'm going to keep a pretty low number. We're just going to use a 2, and so that we can go for that against the grain pass. Peter, good evening. Hakime, welcome again. Good to see you again. Good morning. You were just going to bed. Yeah, I need to go to bed. Yazi, good morning. Oh, from Denmark. Denmark, nice. I have a friend that grew up in Denmark, and he showed me a picture of that round tower. We have an occasional conference and teleconference, and he used the background of the round tower in Denmark, as told me a little bit about its history. Pretty neat. All right, this has been a little while. This is the first version of the summer break soap, and you can see it looks like a little schoolhouse with a bell. That's how you know it's the first version. And he changed it to a sun type of logo. And let's see. Oh, and the daily challenge, guys. This is going to be hard. It's ice water. While I'm working on my building up the lather, we'll have that bowl filling up. Daily challenge is to shave with ice water. That's going to be cold. Yeah. It's a good razor. I didn't want to like the Futur, but it's really actually pretty good. I'm more of a traditionalist, and but the more I used it, the more I really did enjoy it. Okay, so I've had the brush soaking, and for a few minutes. Oh, let me go ahead and pre-wash my face here. You can hear the ice clinking around. Not too bad. Not too bad. You know what's going to be bad is when I put the menthol on afterwards with cold, icy water. You know, I shave with cool water all the time, and so that's not a problem. But usually by the time I get a hold of it, it's more like lukewarm water. All right, just lightly wet brush as usual. I need to try to soften these lights next time. Let's do a 30-second load. Okay, there's my note. I'll say we're starting at 12, and so we'll go to 42, I guess. I may just do 2 passes because I've got until 2 a.m. my time to submit the post, and I'm starting kind of late. Pretty much. Freeze your face off Friday, I believe. And there we go. That's 30 seconds of loading. Hey, I didn't want to forget about Stubble Buster. That's the aftershave I'm going to be using today. And I was just curious because a couple of years ago they kind of came out on the scene, and they were well timed because Barrister and Mann had changed their Lather line to where they just weren't going to make it anymore, and so people needed a line of soaps that were inexpensive but performed well. Well, Stubble Buster was inexpensive and it does perform very well, the soap. My problem with it was always that it was scented way too lightly. For me, it was really like using an unscented soap. And the Grumatorium is the people who make the Stubble Buster line, and they make Chiseled Face and Tiki Bar as well. Obviously, Chiseled Face is still doing really well. I do have my 40 milliliters of water here, but my face may not really feel the lather too much, and we are in a bit of a hurry, so I don't think I'm going to be too picky. Now, the Virginia Ching silver tips really are quite respectable. They're inexpensive, and if you have a brush you want to restore, then they go down to, I know I bought one that was 18 millimeters in diameter, and some of those older plastic handles need something about that size. I would experiment with it because, I mean, the tips are not quite as nice as, like a Golden Nib or Whip Dog or something like that. But I think they should be considered, and they're very inexpensive, especially if you seed them with silicone, then you could yank them if they don't work out for you. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this guy grows with me. Lather's looking good. But I looked on the website of Stubble Buster, and they had just a handful of soaps on sale for $6 each. They did clones of scents. They like Resolute, Game, Absolutely, Moxie. These are the kind of names that you would see for their scents, and each one of them was for a famous cologne like Fahrenheit or something like that. And so they, and now these splashes, like the one I have here, they are actually scented reasonably well, and they're only $10. So I think they're a really good, inexpensive aftershave splash. And of course, they're available in all these different popular scents. So I think they're a great buy if you are looking for some alcohol splashes that do have menthol. And they do have some other good skin ingredients. It's not just scent and menthol and alcohol. I need to soften up my light there so that the whites don't flush out quite as much. All right, well, I think this lather is good enough for a speedy shave. My face is still kind of chilly from that first. Oh, that is cold. Woo! I'm just kind of working out of the basin today, so I'll be rinsing my razor in it and all that. Okay, here we go. Their soaps, stubblebuster.com, were listed for maybe $6 a piece. And we're talking some good performance. I tried 3 or 4 soaps, and they all performed really well. I was very happy with the performance. And so if you are somebody who likes a soap that has a very light scent, and that's what they claimed was the reason their scent was so light. They claimed that They were trying to make sure that new people to the hobby would not be put off by strong scents, and that people with skin issues, Lather's looking good. People with skin issues also would not be affected by high number of irritants from the fragrance oils and that kind of thing. So that was their reasoning. This is a little on the dry side. I can go back there and get a little bit more. And so we'll just work it on our face for just a little bit longer. Oh, hey, I can dip the tips in the ice water. Woo! Now, one thing I like about Canonball, it has a cooling agent, but I can actually tolerate this cooling agent. It's a synthetic type of cooling agent. There are some soaps out there that have actual menthol in the soap. Zachary, welcome. We've got California here as well. We've got Denmark and California. Peter's here from South China. Got all kinds of people. All right, so let's lay down the little light layer of lather and proceed on. Whew, that is cold water. Today's daily challenge, if you're joining us, is to shave with ice water. And that is what I have. I showed it earlier in the shave. Let's get our razor nice and wet. And here we go. Got it on setting 2. Keep it nice and mild. Now, one thing about a cold razor is it kind of acts to soothe the skin as you use it. It also can make desensitize your skin with its coldness, and so you can lose different sensations of the blade and that sort of thing. And that's, I guess, got good and bad potentials there. This is a little bit of a scrapey sounding razor. Doing well, it seems. It's lightly tugging, not really a big deal. And there we go. First pass. And I've got, oh man, yeah. I've got about an hour and 15 minutes to finish this shave and then compose my post. You can hear that ice rumbling around in the bowl. Whew, boy howdy. Roger that, Peter. Peter's off for lunch. Yeah, I am. I started late today. Had some cool stuff to do and some stuff I had to dodge to make sure I did my shave. I'm at a better wireless network tonight, and so I've got the HD camera going. But unfortunately, the lighting here is different. Not quite as good. And as always, we don't have to spend too much time on the second pass. Painting, we don't have to scrub too much because we already cleaned the face on the first pass. All right, here we go again. Yeah, the face is chilly. My face is chilly right now as we do the second pass. Going a little faster than I usually do in my haste to give myself a little more time to compose. Fortunately, the challenge is not something I have to think a lot about tonight. Speaking of thinking, the meme day we did a few days ago, some people put me in different memes. It was really funny. One day I was using a dupe of a cologne, and one guy kind of mocked me about it, but he did it all in good fun. He told me he was going to do it, and that was part of actually the Lather games, I think. And he told me he was going to, and so then people thought he was being mean, but he wasn't. My fingers are starting to get a little numb from having them in this ice water. Well, this is what I would be feeling. In a way, what today's shave could have been. It could have been veterans type experience. Use some old veterans gear. If you were deployed out in the war and you didn't have the ability to warm your water up, then speaking of veterans, we have someone with a veteran name, Major Mincemeat. Major Mincemeat, welcome. But, I'm sure they had to shave with freezing cold water. It might have been a luxury to heat up their water for shaving. So we've got Canonball here and Summer Break, and the newer base is a little better, but this one is no slouch at all. It's a nice slick soap. I'm very happy with the performance. So I checked out the Stubble Buster website. I keep going back to that because I want to give that a complete thought. They kind of disappeared from the scene at first. A lot of people were using it, but they do have some soaps for sale. And so if you are, I don't know if they're just if they're ramping down. So we're starting the third pass now. I don't know if they're ramping down the production of the soaps, and once they sell what's on clearance, then they're just not going to sell anymore, or if they are just it's a temporary thing because they're, maybe because of COVID, they are focusing on, the chiseled face line, or, some maybe having supply issues. There could be any number of reasons. Now, right now, this is really comfortable. It doesn't sound as scrapey as it was earlier because we are removing hair at just the number 2 setting. And let's go ahead and do this cross grain from the other side and kind of prepare for that against the grain stroke. And yeah, I continue not to have any slippery issues at all with this handle. Something about that, maybe it's non-porous in a sense, and so it just kind of grabs onto your fingers when wet. It's actually more grippy, more stable when it's actually wet. Now, soapy and wet's different, but when it's wet, very, very good grip. Hey, Tito. Tito is here. I'm afraid your last name is too far away for me to try to pronounce it. I still have a few ice cubes in the water. It is still very cold. That's the daily challenge for today. All right. So the soaps are available at Stubble Buster, and the cologne, the aftershaves, like the one I'm going to be using tonight, Game, they are still available, and there's a big selection of those. And so I wouldn't be surprised because those are nice. If you find one in a scent you like, they perform well. They're alcohol focused, and for just $9, that's a really good price, especially when you consider, Fine Accoutrements is trying to sell theirs for $24 or something like that. All right. I don't actually know why I lathered up again. This is the 4th pass. I don't really need to. So let's just make quick work of the cheeks. Still on setting 2. It's behaving nicely for me for this shave. And this is use number, I didn't even tell you. Looks like 388 on the Nasset, so in just a little bit we'll be in the 390s. Pretty crazy. All right, now we're going to do the against the grain stroke, and let's find the side of the blade that's not bent, and we'll use that part. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to turn it down to a 1. For this kind of stroke, I find that I really prefer a mild setting or a mild razor to try this against the grain thing here, because with this old blade, that's how I'm able to get a nice close shave. This is not as nice of a player with this blade. It got the job done nicely. It got the job done well, but There are others that are doing that same stroke a little bit more comfortably. I believe like the razor I used yesterday. All right, cold rinse. My fingertips are so cold they're actually hurting. And but my face feels just fine. It feels cold, but it's just fine. All right. Now it's time for the menthol. You know, I worked really hard to try to find my aquatic splash from Barrister and Man. That stuff is high duty menthol. So this one is tangerine, sequoia, and sage, stubble buster game. Ingredients are alcohol, of course, witch hazel. This is nice in that it includes some decent ingredients for your skin, like the witch hazel. Water, aloe leaf juice, the fragrance, a little bit of glycerin. Oh yeah, menthol. But then the acetylsalicylic acid. And I knew there was something distinctive about their splashes. And that is, of course, I believe that's aspirin, right? Or Tylenol or something like that. And so in a way, it's designed to be a topical anesthetic or analgesic or, some word to actually, help your skin to heal and things like that after the shave. So I tried to find the Arctique because that stuff is high duty, crazy amounts of menthol, and that sure would have matched this shave. If you've never shaved with cool water, if you've always used warm and you've got some inflammation ever, I suggest maybe not going with the ice water, but give just lukewarm, cool water a try. I know some of you guys who watch my channel regularly have heard me say that. It can be very soothing in terms of inflammation and irritation. All right. This is a fast shave today. And the cut feels nice. Yeah, the job has been done well. All right, very good. How does that smell? That's really pretty nice. The soap from Stubble Buster may not have much of a scent, but the splashes have a good scent to them. A good level of scent strength. All right, so we're done, and we have a good bit of lather left. And as you can see, that is a nice hydrated lather. That worked really well, pretty much perfect. I'm happy with that one. The Badger brush here. So this is just an inexpensive Chinese brush, and I think it's going to last for a good long time. And I think it's just going to gradually become a little softer with use. But already it's enjoyable to use. And so if you want a budget Badger, I think this is a great choice. Something else to consider is the Sterling Finest Badger. They have one for maybe the $30 price point, and that one's going to have softer tips and a little bit more backbone. But that's an inexpensive one as well. So those are great choices. I did glue this in with silicone into the handle that I purchased, and so handles can be any cost you want. Oh, that menthol is kicking in right now with that cold water. Woo, boy! All right. Man, that is cold, hurty water. All right, so we did well. The razor held nicely. A little bit of discomfort and irritation right here, but we are using cold water, and so there's that. Now let's do the post-shave. And again, this is an Aqua Di Gio inspired scent, Perry Ellis 360 Red. And it's not nearly as expensive as Aqua Di Gio, but it's so close. They say it has a little cinnamon hint to it, and I'm cinnamon averse. If there's a lot of cinnamon in something, it's not going to be for me. But this is just not the case. It really almost all smells like Aqua Di Gio, and it's an enjoyable scent for me. So going for the Canonball, the scent of the swimming pool, the chlorine, all those types of things to the aquatic notes of the splash here. I'm sorry, of the frag at the end of the shave. Very cool. To make that lather, so we lathered on the summer break for 30 seconds, and 25 milliliters of water was what was used, and that is 5 teaspoons for you American type folks. And I think we are good. If anybody has any questions, feel free to post them as I wind everything down and kind of clean up. I'll pour this cold water down the drain. Man, I tell you what. Whew. Some people actually like to shave with ice water. I can see how it would be very soothing for them, but that's a little too much for me. This was my bowl of choice there. And then after, with an animal hair brush, I like to put a towel against the wall and give it a good shake in the sink, and then get the standing water out with the towel there. And this is kind of an old school badger. These are not treated, and so you're not going to get curly, crispy tips, at least not until you use 10 or 20 years. All right. Peter, welcome back. Yes, it was a cool shave. It was the epitome of cool shaves. All right. Rinse out the soap. To answer a very popular question, I take my soaps and I make sure I rinse out the threading there, but I don't rinse out what's actually in there. I just leave that for next time. And some people let their soaps dry for 24 hours between shaves. And if they switch, then that just means they cap it up the next day. If they use the same soap, then obviously they kind of just leave it open all the time. I've gotten some soaps that have lost a lot of their scent, and I think that's from people who have done that. And so I just leave it open for during the course of my shave, between 30 and 40 minutes, and then I close it at the end of the shave. Soap is naturally a bad place for bacteria to try to grow, and I've never had any problem, and I've had so many soaps just sit around for years with no problems at all. And we'll take a moment here to put our mark on our count card for the Nasset. $388. So tomorrow, $389. And then we'll be in very strange feeling territory with the 390s. That's just a weird concept to me, even after all this time. 25 milliliters of water used in that lather. Great to talk to you guys tonight. It's a small crowd, and that is okay. That's okay. Got to say hey to Denmark today. Pretty cool. And somebody said today that one of the memes that was done was of Mr. Bean sitting on the highway, and it was just him being bored and waiting, and it was the title of the whole thing was the Lather Games judges having to watch all of Sugar Daddy's videos. and I hope they don't do that. I feel sorry for them. But hey, remember, if you watch it on replay, I'm almost sure that like all the other YouTube videos, you should be able to go and change the playback speed. Okay, you can set it to 1.5, and often if I'm speaking slowly, you can still understand what I'm saying at 1.5, but you're saving a lot of time. If you want to speed it up just a little bit, do 1.25 times the normal rate, and you'll definitely be able to catch almost all the words, but you'll still save a little bit of time with that because it's not quite as fast. All right, I think we're good. I've got about 55 minutes to shut everything down and go do my reports. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Thank you so much. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I hope there's been something in this video to help you guys out. It's been fast for me. It's been cold for me. Again, just to tell you, we use a Virginia Ching 24 millimeter silver tip badger brush, inexpensive but nice. A Craving Shaving handle, ice blue colors. We used that has a cooling agent because that was the theme of the day. Canonball from Summer Break Soaps, a wonderful vendor there. We used the splash of Game from Stubble Buster, available on their stubblebuster.com website for $9.99. Good price for a good splash, and it still has good ingredients for your skin. And then the Periolis 360 Red is the fragrance, and it is it's got some nice notes that match between some of these pieces. So that turned out to be I matched the theme, and the scents did turn out to kind of work together as well, which is always fortunate. All right, guys, I think we're going to shut her on down. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the Lather games in a future broadcast, episode, stream, a future stream. There we go. Take care, guys. Good night. Zesty, you got in right at the very end. Hey, man. See ya. Take care.